After hanging up, take 4 specific actions in this exact order. First, go directly to appleid.apple.com by typing the address yourself, never by clicking a link in any email. Log in and go to the Devices section. Remove any device you do not recognize. Second, change your Apple ID password immediately from that same page. Third, check your Apple Wallet by opening the Wallet app directly on your iPhone and reviewing your cards for any transactions you did not make. Fourth, contact your bank directly using the number on the back of your physical card to report potential fraud and place a temporary hold on any cards linked to Apple Pay if you believe credentials were compromised. There are 4 settings to check right now that directly reduce your exposure to all active Apple Pay attacks in 2026. The first is the Express Transit card setting already covered. Change it away from Visa or disable Express Transit entirely. The second setting is in your Apple ID 2-factor authentication. Go to Settings, tap your name, tap Password and Security, and look at how your trusted phone number is configured. If your only second factor is SMS text message, you need to add The third setting to check is Transaction Notifications. Open Settings, tap Notifications, find Wallet, and make sure notifications are enabled with alerts turned on. Instant transaction alerts mean that if any unauthorized Apple Pay charge occurs, you know about it in real time, not when you check your bank statement days later. Immediate awareness is the difference between stopping fraud quickly and discovering it after significant damage has been done. The fourth setting is screen time restrictions on Wallet if you share a device with family members, or if your iPhone has ever been accessed by someone else. Go to Settings, Screen Time, Content and Privacy Restrictions, and review whether wallet changes are restricted. This prevents someone who briefly accesses your unlocked phone from adding new payment cards or modifying your Express Transit settings without your knowledge. The broader context for all of these attacks is something that cybersecurity firm Webroot described as the defining shift in consumer digital threats in 2026. AI tools have made it possible for attackers to produce convincing messages, impersonate trusted brands, and automate campaigns at a level that was technically and financially out of reach for most threat actors just 2 years ago. Generative AI creates phishing emails that pass every visual inspection. AI voice tools create support calls that defeat the instincts, calibrated based on psychological research, into what motivates different types of people to act without thinking. The phone calls pass voice authentication. The entire attack surface has been redesigned to defeat the human judgment that previous generations of fraud had to overcome. Apple ID should be monitored regularly for unrecognized devices. These are not complicated steps. They take 15 minutes to implement, and they close the specific attack paths that are actively being used to drain Apple Pay accounts right now before July, before summer crowds, and events create exactly the conditions that NFC relay attackers and AI phishing campaigns are designed to exploit. Someone could drain your Apple Pay right now and you would not see it coming. Not because your iPhone is broken, not because your passwords are weak, not because you did anything wrong, because the attacks targeting Apple Pay in 2026 have been redesigned from the ground up using artificial intelligence, and they are built specifically to defeat every instinct you have developed for protecting yourself online. The fake email looks exactly like a real Apple receipt. The phone call sounds exactly like a real Apple support agent. The 2FA code that arrives on your phone is a real Apple code, triggered in real time by the attacker as they attempt to log into your account while they have you on the phone. And the NFC relay attack that steals money directly from your locked iPhone, he does not require you to do anything at all. You just have to be standing in the wrong place with the wrong card set as your transit default. This is not a theoretical warning. These attacks were documented, demonstrated, and confirmed working in 2026, and there are specific settings on your iPhone right now that are either protecting you from them or leaving you completely exposed. Start with the NFC relay attack because this is the one that shocked people the most when it was demonstrated publicly. A research team from the University of Surrey and the University of Birmingham proved on video with a real locked iPhone and real money that an attacker can steal thousands of dollars from your Apple Pay without ever unlocking your phone, without triggering Face ID, and without you having any idea the transaction happened until you check your bank statement. The attack exploits a feature Apple built for convenience called Express Transit. Express Transit allows your iPhone to make transit payments, subway fares, bus fares, train tickets, without requiring you to unlock the phone or authenticate with Face ID first. The idea is that when you are rushing through a subway turnstile, you should not have to fumble with biometrics. You just tap and go. Apple designed this feature specifically to skip authentication to make the user experience faster. And that same design decision is what the attack exploits. The exploit works by using a custom relay device, essentially a modified NFC card reader connected to a laptop, positioned near the victim. The device intercepts and forwards the NFC communication between the victim's iPhone and what the phone believes is a legitimate transit terminal. Because the iPhone is in express transit mode, it approves the transaction without. Demonstrated this live with a $10,000 transaction on a real locked iPhone. It worked. The vulnerability has been known in some form since 2021. Both Apple and Visa were informed. Apple's position has been that it is a Visa problem. Visa's position has been that it is cheaper to handle chargebacks than to overhaul the payment architecture across millions of terminals worldwide. Nobody fixed the root cause. And the attack still works today. The specific card that enables this attack is any Visa card configured as your Express Transit card. Now, the attack has been confirmed working with Visa cards in the Express Transit position. It does not work the same way with other card networks or with cards that require authentication. This means the fix for this specific attack is direct and immediate. Open your iPhone settings right now, tap Wallet and Apple Pay, tap Transit Card, and look at what card is set as your default for Express Transit payments. If it is a Visa card, change it to a non-Visa card or disable Express Transit entirely. Go into Settings, then Wallet and Apple Pay. Scroll down to Express Transit and either switch the card to a MasterCard, Amex, or other non-Visa network card, or turn the feature off completely. The single change eliminates your exposure to the NFC relay attack that was just demonstrated working on real iPhones in 2026. It costs you minor convenience at transit terminals. It protects you from losing thousands of dollars in seconds from your locked phone in a crowd. Now to the AI-powered attack that is hitting Apple Pay users at scale right now, and that is significantly more sophisticated and more dangerous than any phishing scam you have encountered before. Security researchers at Malwarebytes identified and documented this campaign in February 2026 and described it as one of the most convincing financial fraud operations they had ever analyzed. The attack begins with an email, not a suspicious email full of grammatical errors and strange formatting, a perfect email. AI-generated, professionally designed, featuring the correct Apple logo, clean layout, accurate branding, and the kind of formatting that is indistinguishable from a genuine Apple transaction receipt. The subject line is, engineered to cause immediate panic. It claims that Apple has detected and stopped a high-value charge on your Apple Pay account. It includes a specific case ID number. It includes a timestamp. It may include a realistic receipt for something expensive, a MacBook Air, AirPods Pro, a high-value gift card, something that would genuinely alarm you if you thought someone had charged it to your account. The email tells you to call a number to resolve the issue. You call the number and you reach what sounds like a real Apple support agent. This is where the AI dimension of the attack becomes critical. The voice on the other end of the call is not a human reading from a script. In the most advanced versions of this campaign, it is an AI voice clone or a highly trained operator using AI-assisted tools that pull real information about you from data. Broker databases to make the interaction feel genuine. They know your name. They may know your Apple ID email address. They reference the fake transaction with specific details that match what the email said. The entire conversation is designed to feel like exactly what it claims to be, a legitimate Apple support interaction, helping you protect your account from fraud. Then they ask you to verify your identity. They walk you through steps that seem reasonable for account recovery. And at a specific moment in the conversation, your iPhone receives a real Apple verification code by text message. This is not a fake code. It is a genuine two-factor authentication code that Apple just sent to your phone because the attacker, on their end, is attempting to log into your Apple ID account in real time while they have you on the phone. They ask you to read them the code so they can verify your identity. If you read it to them, they enter it immediately and gain full access to your Apple account. Once inside, they access your Apple Pay cards, your payment methods, your linked bank accounts, and in some cases, your Apple Cash balance. The attack has been documented draining accounts in real time while the victim is still on the phone believing they are being helped. Malwarebytes stated plainly why this attack works at scale. Apple's brand carries enormous trust. Apple Pay involves real money, and users have been trained to treat fraud alerts as urgent and to cooperate with support agents when they are frightened about financial loss. The AI supercharges all three of these factors. The email looks more convincing than any human could produce manually at scale. The voice interaction removes the skepticism that people apply to text-based scams, and the real-time 2FA interception closes the authentication loop before the victim has time to think about what they are handing over. The defense against this specific attack is a rule that must be absolute and non-negotiable. Apple will never call you. Apple will never send you an email asking you to call a number. Apple will never ask you to read a verification code to a support agent over the phone. Ever. Under any circumstances. For any reason. There is no legitimate Apple support scenario that requires you to verbally provide a two-factor authentication code to a caller. That code exists only for you to enter on a login screen. The moment any caller asks you for a verification code that just arrived on your phone, you are being attacked regardless of how official they sound, how correctly they know your name, how accurate their information is, or how urgent they make the situation feel. Hang up immediately. Do not explain. Do not stay on the line. Hang up.